welcome back to the Jim Burns Dave podcast.
What podcast is this? Can't remember it.
Yeah, we've been away. Sorry, we were in jail.
How was everyone's Christmases anyway?
Yeah, they were good.
It was that long
They were good. No, Christmas is done now, much like Britain. But yeah, we've been away. We literally and figuratively doing stuff. You know, work. Do you remember work? What a load of shit. But we've been doing that. And now we're back to talk a load of bollocks into here rather than just a general street or pub or sewer or wherever we'll have us.
Should we explain to people that we made 3 BBC shows as well as, lots of other stuff for publishers and things like,
Yeah, we've been doing stuff.
You just did.
I want to explain to people that we weren't just sitting on our arse for 5 months or whatever.
We've not retired, essentially.
Yeah.
We had to make a lot of shows.
Lots and lots to do.
Back to back.
More on that later.
And it's good because we're in the run-up to new content from us, which we think you'll really like, and there's going to be more on that later. And then we're off to E3, which is going to be good. And
those two facts are related.
Yeah, so, exactly. And thanks to Dave Mills being amazing at Airbnb, which is a skill.
Yeah.
You can put that on LinkedIn.
That is a skill.
Along with Massive Tosser.
Dave, to be fair, Dave's really good at booking stuff.
So we got like this villa in Santa Monica.
Yeah.
So that's good. We'll be in there.
It is going to be pimped. And you can order 400 chicken nuggets again, Jim.
Well,
that's not... Excuse me. Absolutely
I know, it's going to be 400 fucking vegan. Yeah. I mean, they're basically vegan anyway. They're never near a chicken, are they?
Yeah. But Jim, the other day, conveniently, when we went to see the accountant for the year-end accounts, was not there. Mainly because I think he thought he was going to be asked about this discrepancy in food budgets for the first E3.
Well, excuse me. There was no discrepancy. As I recall, I was following instructions to order food.
Yeah.
And the instructions were coming in so thick and fast that I accidentally...
Two other people.
I accidentally ordered...
This is your Vietnam, is it, Jim?
I accidentally ordered everything you asked for, and that's how we ended up with 400 fucking chicken.
That really says that you're very confident under pressure there. Yeah, you can order 20 chicken nuggets.
But I'm not going to be ordering any chicken nuggets.
You definitely won't be. You're
Mate,
not
after 400 gins, you'll be like, fuck the chickens!
Yeah.
Well,
guarantee it.
No, because I have been drunk since...
You have to remember, though, Jim, I will say that I do admire your commitment to this thing that you're doing, even if I don't necessarily think that I would do it. But the chickens are already dead, okay? So if you're worried about that, the chickens, you don't have to kill them yourself.
That's quite a big loophole. You're so into vegans.
They're already dead.
That's a big loophole.
Unless you're eating the animal alive, then you're fine to eat animals as a vegan.
That's like when my mum used to, her argument against getting energy-saving light bulbs was, they're already going to burn the coal. Doesn't matter what I do. It's like, wow, no, but that's actually wrong.
But because the cost is passed on to you. Like, that's not the same thing whatsoever.
Well, they're going to burn the coal, whatever happens, and it's like, well, no.
Yeah, especially
I mean, it's probably the closest relationship you have to supply and demand.
It is fascinating that people don't think that their one small action makes a difference and being like, well, it doesn't. But if the one small action is done by 600 million other people, then it has a very big impact.
My problem is that the Great Barrier Reef is well dead, isn't it? So what's the point in carrying...
The Great Barrier Reef is gone. We're all fucked.
Yeah, they're trying to make it come back, but it's like, when they tried to make Knight Rider come back, it just wasn't the same. It just won't be the same.
It's like that remake of MacGyver, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Richard Dean Anderson.
Yeah.
I mean, I like Richard, but he's gone a bit...
He's
melted a bit,
Yeah, he's an old man now. Yeah. That's really sad.
But fair play to him, he's still got cracking hair.
Yeah.
Right, listen. So apart from the work, and we can't really talk too much about it because
we can talk about the ones we've done.
Yeah. Okay. Well, all right, Dave. Fucking hell.
Yeah.
Look at this guy, Mr. Fucking Guns N' Roses. We don't care about the man.
Dave just wants to talk about the fact that he's now a television director.
Yeah.
And
well, hold on. Let's talk.
And has started wearing jumpers to the pub, which is a classic
business
director move, isn't
Mate,
it?
I've not had a jumper on for fucking 2 months. As soon as that sun came out, I'm not going out with shorts or flip-flops.
But we did the episode Gaming for All on accessibility, and the other day Microsoft announced that they had a new accessibility controller. I mean, they could have said that while we were there, but no, that's obviously great news. And we had
it was really great actually to see that announced and getting a lot of buzz. And having
Just a lot of mainstream pickup.
Yeah, and I don't think if that had come out 6 months, I'm just purely talking about myself here, but if that had come out 6 months earlier, I don't think I would have taken as much notice. But because, like, you know, I learned a few things when we put together that show about the importance of accessibility and stuff. And it's not that I didn't think it was important, I just hadn't really thought about it. And then
it was the sheer how high the number was of men that were colourblind.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
Yeah. Well, I don't know the exact figure now, but it's loads. Just imagine the number, like the word loads translated into a number. Yeah. It's big, it's large.
And there's other things that made you, so because, you know, we think about like accessibility issues in terms of people who have, it tends to be framed around people who have like severe disability, like, you know, from a very young age. But it's been pointed out, and it was pointed out during the making of that program, that like accessibility sort of matters to everyone because any one of us can become disabled. It can be a transitionary thing, like 1 minute you're an able-bodied person, the next minute you aren't. That's a thing that can literally happen. And just being alive and getting old, you know, your dexterity
that is interesting point
your
as well,
eyesight
as the game, like the early gamers reach that part of their life and still want a game. That is a consideration that because it hasn't really had to be considered before now.
But now the population of people who play these things, we are now aging, so you know
I was talking about people like in their 20s in the 80s, not who were born there, but it will happen one day, Jim.
I know, but you know, I'm like I'm 33 now and I feel like a 60-year-old man sometimes. Sometimes I stand.
Your fucking knees are like a 60-year-old man.
They really are. Sometimes I stand. Like I've got bad problems with my knees now, which is the kind of thing that a 60-year-old man would say. I've got bad problems with my knees.
Yeah, so, but I mean, like even in very recent history, by this time you'd be fucking toast anyway, wouldn't you?
Yeah, exactly.
So actually, really, this whole living beyond 40 is a bit of a joke.
I mean, we're doing all right, really. To be fair.
Well, are we? I reckon I'm on the way out. You know, I can feel it. I'm not necessarily. I just feel like.
But you've eased your pizza diet, haven't you?
I have. I've cut down on the pizza diet.
That's just buying you more and more time.
I love that when Burns is on a health trip, it's like I've cut down to one pizza a day.
Yeah. Listen, when you're such a prolific pizza eater that you forget you've eaten one and then can get halfway through the second one, and the person you live with has also forgotten because it's just like shutting a door. You don't remember every time someone shuts the door, right?
It only becomes like she only notices when you're not eating the pizza. It's like
exactly.
Burns hasn't got a pizza.
But you've been a very good boy since we started this. You kicked the old cigarettes.
Yeah.
And then you kicked the things that assist you to give up cigarettes.
Yeah.
Still on the heroin, but...
well, heroin's alright. It's just...
Yeah.
So I guess a bad rep, doesn't it?
Heroin gets a bad rap as long as you're middle class.
But what I admire about the heroin is he has a bit of effort into it. You know, it's not like you just go and buy some fags, because you can do that. You know, anyone can do that. Children do that. Yeah. Heroin, you've got to be committed. Okay, you have to have the man, and the man has to have his man. Yeah, you know, and then you have to have the equipment. Like, there's upfront costs here.
It's a faff. Like let's be honest.
And if you want to get your teeth done after it as well, that's a big cost.
Exactly.
I know an ex-heroin addict who swears, and this is anecdotal. But he swears.
Asking for a friend, Adrian.
Yeah, he swears blind that giving up cigarettes is harder than giving up heroin, and it's for that reason. It's like because you can go and buy cigarettes in any corner shop, in any supermarket,
and you're not stood outside and someone goes, I've had a few pints. Do you want a cheeky shot of heroin?
I'm going outside to shoot up, mate. You want?
You know? I mean, in bars in London, any other drug is pretty much fair game for that. You can walk downstairs into the men's toilets in certain bars and be like,
I suppose basically the free availability of cigarettes to a London audience, we'd have to compare that to the free availability of cocaine.
It's probably easier to get that. What's that thing you were saying, Jim, about Glasgow?
Oh, Glasgow. There was a thing that came out recently. Apparently, like Britain is the world's number one, Europe's number one consumer of cocaine, and Glasgow in particular, you can get cocaine delivered to your house faster than you can get a pizza. Which is brilliant.
Cracking.
And as you were saying earlier, Burns, that is a failure of the free market.
You don't need the second one.
Yeah, exactly. Because that's like, if Papa John's can't get their act together to do a better job than fucking drug dealers,
other pizza delivery people are available.
Yeah.
This is this mad thing as well. Like this is like, when criminals provide a better service than the legit boys. Like I'm not saying there's much of an equivalence between cocaine and pizza, but you know how for example when if you want to rent a film that's been in the cinema like 6 months ago, and you can't rent it anywhere, but you can get a pristine fucking digital rip of it off a torrent site. The pirates are providing a better service than the legit.
Well, it's just taking a weird turn, this podcast, hasn't it? It's taking a bit of a weird turn.
What I'm saying is that Papa John's and Domino's and all those other guys, if they want to up their pizza delivery game,
start delivering drugs as well.
Well, they should probably start investing in the drug trade. So they can
buy 2 bags, get 1 free margarita.
No, I'm saying if they start, putting some money into the drug trade, they can start siphoning off some of the infrastructure. Because,
Okay, all right.
That would be the greatest reason that anyone made a drug cartel ever. Look, we just wanted to get pizzas out to Kilmarnock.
It's just a tax dodge.
But you know that thing about how, every 6 months Elon Musk apparently invents the city bus. He's like, what if I had a transport network and there were just stops all over town, and then you can get on it and it would take you places.
It's like a bus.
And it's like,
I want the hyperlink.
But it'd be like, get Elon Musk onto the pizza delivery problem, and he'd probably just be like, well, what if
we teleport pizza into
network of
God?
guys in shell suits and all the pizza in wee plastic bags.
Right, well, I suppose on that note, we'll move on to something that's not massively illegal and completely tenuous.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about things that have been exciting people.
Don't talk about you, wank.
No, shut up. So I watched Westworld.
Yeah.
Yeah, now I avoided it when it launched, when it came out, because I was like,
because it wasn't about people's ex-girlfriends or on a beach or any of that shit.
It just,
or about the mob.
Well, firstly, I completely missed a lot of the messaging, and I thought it was still going to be told from the perspective of the humans, essentially. Mm-hmm. And I've seen a lot of fucking movies or shows where Lost, for example, or whatever. People are like, wah. Oh, things have gone bad and it's weird here, and now we got to work it out. And as soon as someone said, nah, it's actually told from the perspective, essentially, of the robots themselves, I was like, that's more interesting. So I watched the first season and I liked it. And now we're on to the second season. And
I also like it. You're not a big fan though, are you, Jim?
I feel like Westworld is the crunchy nut cornflakes, isn't it?
Here we go.
It's the Mark and Jez sort of like, Westworld is Jurassic Park for wankers, but Jurassic Park is Westworld for people who can't face reality.
Bringing us back to heroin,
It's
you need
the
to
old-
cut the fuck down, because what are you on about?
Yeah,
It's
are
the
you
old,
okay?
It's the old Frosties Honey Nut Cornflakes dynamic, isn't
Has
it?
this just been like an admission? Is this an intervention where you have just used some very weird and stupid analogies?
Westworld is very similar to Jurassic Park. How do you level having the idiotic opinion that Jurassic Park isn't very good, but you like Westworld when there's essentially the same message?
Yeah, excuse me. So your entire shtick is that film based on a Michael Crichton novel is bad,
Yeah.
and yet
This isn't a film. Congratulations. There
oh,
you
for
go.
fuck's well, that's an academic distinction.
No, it's
isn't
not.
it?
Oh, what? So films and TV shows are the same, are they?
Well, the only difference
Careful
is the
now,
format.
G, you're-
The only difference.
Oh, the only difference is the format.
Yeah,
okay,
exactly. Yeah.
incredible. I'm sure there are a lot of film and television directors who'll be like, they turn up and go, right, we'll shoot 90 minutes for this.
In
TV
both
show."
instances, the entire plot is there's a theme park and the rides go bad. That's it.
It's not though, because at least in
You
this,
might as well base one in fucking Alton Towers about a roller
Skate.
skate.
That's not the word
I've
you're looking
lost my
for.
words now. About a fucking, what are those things called?
get this man some.
What are those
whatever
things
he
called?
was.
It's like a fucking train, but it's on stilts.
We all
Roller coaster,
I was just
right.
waiting for you to find it.
Wow,
Right,
a train, but it's on stilts.
What's that fucking film you like?
Roller
With the,
coaster.
with the hairdresser in space?
If they'd done a horror film about Alton Towers, except the roller coasters just decapitate people.
Hold on, Alton Towers
That's-
have done that themselves, haven't they, in the last couple of years?
Shit, have they?
Or was it Thorpe Park? No, what I like about
was
Westworld is what I said is that they actually,
We should probably point out that we don't know if that's true or not. We might need to cut that because that's.
But what?
no, there was a big
matter-
accident.
Terrible accident.
And they got sued for it.
Was it Alton Towers?
Yeah.
It was
I went to
definitely-
Thorpe Park the next day because I thought, well, no one's
Because you're
going to
well
go.
hard, are you?
No, 'cause we had the theme park to ourselves. Obviously, they shut the rides.
I was told a story that's slight tangent, right? On that, right? On that.
Oh, really? A slight tangent,
Slight
Jim?
tangent. Somebody,
Because it's been so on topic so far.
a couple of friends on Twitter were talking about this. Apparently in Alnwick, a town in the northeast of...
Been there, mate got married there.
Was it Alnwick or Almouth? One of those, anyway. I think
they're
it was
both
Alnwick.
really close to each other.
They're both northeast, right?
Yeah.
Up by North Berwick, right? Apparently, there's a pub in one of these towns where there's these antique bottles in the window that are dusty as fuck. They've never been cleaned. They've not been moved for like a century, right? And somebody on Twitter, it's probably near. Yeah, it is near it. It's like an hour's drive away from my dad's house. And somebody somebody went in there who doesn't believe in any of this paranormal shit and sat down and asked people why. What's the deal with these bottles? So the local legend is that anyone who's ever touched any of those bottles has died, right?
Mm-hmm. At some point.
That's the whole thing. No, seriously. And this is the thing. This is the thing somebody went through, like, and the person sort of did this whole kind of tweet thread about it, and they were like, so everyone who's ever touched one of those bottles has died, yeah. Like instantly or no, just eventually. But that's just everyone. But you could say that about like everyone who's ever crossed the road has eventually
everyone
died.
who's eaten in your restaurant has eventually died.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, when you actually play it like that.
And then they were like, well, just it freaks people out, so nobody wants to touch them, nobody wants to move them. That's why they just sit there collecting dust or whatever. And everyone, a couple of friends
what the fuck has this got to do with Westworld?
A couple of friends of mine were quote tweeting it, and they were just like, well, I mean, that's fucking ridiculous, isn't it? I mean, obviously, why people are afraid of touching bottles? But I was like, you wouldn't fucking touch them, though, would you? Like, as rational a human being, I mean, I don't believe in anything paranormal or anything like that, but if I was presented with that situation, like giving it the big one in the pub, like, you're talking a load of shite, and they invited me, well, go and fucking touch them, then I'd be like, no.
No, the only supernatural thing that I believe in is the supernatural levels of shite that you're fucking talking right
My
now.
point is that Dave going to Thorpe Park right after a high-profile roller coaster accident is like, I think Dave would touch the balls.
Of course, he's from the north.
Also, it's like the safest day to go to a... I feel like the year after 9/11 to the day, and everyone was like, ooh, that's a bit dodgy, isn't it? Like, this is the safest day in aviation history to fly.
Yeah.
Well, listen, what I like about Westworld is, it's different from Jurassic Park, because in Jurassic Park...
There's dinosaurs.
There are dinosaurs. But, generally speaking, I like the little riddle, but I like the kind of everyone's the Minotaur, right? Everyone's trying to find the center of the maze, but they're all fucking bad people, right?
There's no dinosaurs in it, but there's a fucking Minotaur.
Listen, you have to just. I like, obviously, the Man in Black is interesting, although I think his role is much diminished in the second season because
Tommy Ed Harris looks incredible in that.
Ed Harris.
Yeah.
Ed Harris, as Dave and I were saying, is that Ed Harris doesn't appear to have had any like real work done on his face. So his face, he's 67, I think. So his face doesn't actually look like an approximation of what his face used to look like. It's just more interesting to look at.
With his stories and his
great. It's great. And then in the second season you meet the guy who used to own the company that owns Westworld. And I thought he was very harshly treated. All he wanted to do was live forever and be a massive walloper forever. Mm-hmm. And what did he get? Nothing. Didn't get away with it. And this is why I always feel bad, like Ex Machina. Yeah, that guy, I was sad when he, didn't make it. Mm-hmm. So this is sad. And Peter Wayland, I wanted him to live forever. I thought he
went the kid out of RoboCop 2.
When the kid from RoboCop 2 died, I was sad. Mm-hmm. I would say it's the end of my acting career. But Dave, you've seen season 2 of Westworld.
Yes.
What are your thoughts? Come on.
I again think it's great. I think everything about it. The writing's interesting. The themes are interesting. It's beautifully lit. I agree that the theme's missing having no. Fuck off.
That's the park. That's the theme of the park.
But it expands beyond that as well. Actually, Jim.
In the film, isn't the idea that there's a bunch of parks? One of them is West, one of them is Rome, one of them is
there's tons of them.
There's a sequel as well, Future World.
Yeah,
I never saw that. I like the original film. There's always you could always see there was a nucleus of a great idea to explore in it. I'm surprised that it wasn't done before now, but.
Yeah, the thing about Jurassic Park is the reason I prefer Westworld over Jurassic Park is you can't fuck the dinosaurs. But yeah, so that's.
I don't know,
Hey, listen, Goldblum's
life
in
finds
it.
a way.
Yeah,
right?
well, Goldblum's in it. You thought he was just, he was injured. Yeah, Westworld. I do like it. I do think sometimes it was David Baddiel tweeted the other day saying he actually in season 2 he likes it best when it's not just trying to be like a Western. And I loved Dolores in the first season, but I think she's sidelined in this one. And because there's not, how much more mileage can you get out of, I want to kill everyone? Mm-hmm. You know, and you got to show her going to kill everyone. And I kind of like the whole thing with what happens with her and Teddy. But
I like the design of the faceless...
the drones,
yeah,
who do the. I mean, that's cool that there is another reason to the park, and I will say that the interpretation of William this time around is very good in terms of him turning into you know who, and I think his actor does a much better job actually. I know that he's meant to be like quite green in the first season, but his turn seemed too quick. Like Logan wakes up and he's killed an entire army.
They didn't really give it any screen time there. I guess they're going to build on that thread being pulled.
It's good. I like it. And now there are samurai in it. So in Shogun World. So you mean that's a spoiler?
Spoiler, fuck's sake.
Fuck off, mate. Well, you should have seen it by now, hadn't you? Dave.
Well, I don't like that.
Dave,
that's reductive.
You're off to see the Rolling Stones tonight, aren't you?
I fucking am. Yeah. It's going to be awesome. Supported by Liam Gallagher.
Yeah. Fucking hell.
Get Ben.
How fucking northern is that? That's mad.
Yeah.
Rolling Stones
I have been saying, Dave,
I know they're not northern. Being into them as well, northern.
Yeah. I have been saying, Dave, that by the time that you get to wherever it is tonight, one of them will probably be dead at least. But
this is the last time, really, isn't it? I can't imagine they've got many more final tours.
I would just prefer to have gone to see them in the past. I'm not sure.
Well, yeah, so would I, but as that's not an option to me, I'm going to take the next best option.
But I've always been considering that their heyday was before Dave was alive.
Yeah. Well, how do you know that? He's well old. Anyway, Dave. But one of the things that always put me off going to see like a Fleetwood Mac or Rolling Stones is, I don't know, it's a different example. You saw Big Bobby D, didn't you? You saw Bob Dylan 15 years ago.
Well, I mean, to be honest,
shithouse.
It was still just awesome to see him, but Bob Dylan couldn't really sing in his heyday, let alone now.
Yeah, but you said he looked like a fucking bag lady, Dave, didn't you? You said he looked like just crazy.
It's more just seeing those legends.
That famous kind of image that went around sort of the proto-internet, somebody basically had done up their willy to look like Bob Dylan. You ever see that?
All roads lead to Bobby with Jim. What is this?
There's a photo of someone.
A cock Bob Dylan?
No, there's a photo of someone's dick, right? They put a pair of wee sunglasses on it, and it looks like Bob Dylan.
The hell is wrong with you, man?
No, it's in that film. I'm not there. It's
just looks like Bob Dylan.
Yes.
I'm just wondering if he now actually just looks more like the Willy than the.
This is extremely problematic right now.
He win the Nobel Prize.
Yeah, he won the Nobel Prize for being fucking well old. Jim, what have you been up to?
So I saw Infinity War, obviously. Mm-hmm. Biggest film of the fucking decade, right? Biggest film of the year, biggest film of the century so far, right? 10-year build.
I'm not going to bite on any one of those lines.
It's the biggest, in terms of like the cultural event that is. There's nothing else. Nothing fucking touches it. What are you talking about?
What if it is the cultural event of the decade?
Yeah. Absolutely.
I mean,
all right. What do you think it is then? The fucking royal wedding, Burns, mad Tory.
Oh yeah, that's right. Steve Burns, known fucking royalist.
Yeah, exactly. The royal wedding, which was basically Infinity War for Tories.
That's quite good. You should have said that a few days ago, but you didn't.
But yeah, so but it was obviously if you're into I love the MCU and all that shit. So it was great to see it all sort of come together. And
haven't they bought something else now, Fox?
Well, they're in talks to buy Fox, yeah. So that probably mean that the X-Men are going to come into it at some point.
I saw Iron Man. Yeah. I like that. I thought it was good.
Iron Man's one of the best ones.
Like 19 films so far, bro.
Yeah, but also crucially, none of them are better than Iron Man.
That's bollocks.
Okay, what is?
Loads of them are better than Iron Man. Thor Ragnarok.
Thor Ragnarok is funny.
Okay, but what I'm saying is, have they maintained the level of quality across the across the movies, or is it a bit of kind of Stockholm
They don't
syndrome
need
where
to
it's-
as much because they just get compared to themselves.
Yeah,
they don't
that's
get compared
the
to
thing.
real
They're
movies.
they're almost a genre unto themselves now. But like, I don't think they've ever made a really bad one. But there's definitely
Iron Man 3 is fucking
Iron Man 3
watchably bad.
is rubbish, actually.
It's by Shane Black.
Iron Man
still
3 and I didn't like Iron Man 3 or Iron Man 2. And Thor: The Dark World, Thor 2, that was penis.
Did some on that.
Yeah, did you?
It
Yeah.
was shy, innit?
Fucking terrible. Did you shoot all the bad bits?
Alan
So-
Taylor wasn't there, Dave? Alan Taylor, director, Thor 2.
Yeah.
And the second
You
Avengers
should know,
film,
mate. You were fucking with him.
So fucking little
the
on it.
second Avengers film, Age of Ultron, was bad as well. It was like, but the thing is, though, a bad Marvel film is still just sort of, like you can't hate it. It's just doesn't have enough substance to fucking hate. You know what I mean? It's just it's nonsense. It's like reading a bad comic book. It doesn't last that long, and there's nothing particularly offensive about it. So, you know.
Yeah, but if all the books that have been put in the library are comic books, is that a problem?
No.
And you can draw that analogy to the fact that everything in the cinema is basically a superhero
Well, that's
film.
bollocks, though, isn't it? Because like everything in the cinema isn't a superhero movie.
No, it isn't, but there's a lot of it is.
There's a lot of it, but you know.
Is it anywhere reaching peak?
Well, I don't think.
It feels that people have kind of already getting there with Star Wars, or maybe it's just because it's a bad Star Wars film. Haven't seen it yet.
I don't think
Should be
it's.
noted.
I don't
but
think it's an issue.
This one has just kind of creeped into kind of, oh yeah, and it's out on Friday instead of this massive build up.
I don't think it's an issue.
Solo.
Because I don't think any of these things are an issue because because there's so many more people on the planet now. Like every market is bigger than it was 10, 15 years ago. Every cultural sphere is bigger than it was. There's fucking room for everything. Is my point.
Is that?
Like, yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter that so many films of the year are fucking superhero films because there's fucking hundreds of other films that aren't. If that's
Yeah,
what
but
you're
they're not really getting screen time at the
Well, they do.
multiplexes, are they?
Yes, they do. Like,
That's nonsense.
well, they do.
If you can open up Marvel fucking versus Giblets or whatever the fuck the spin-off is on 16 screens and then
Well,
a couple of other
maybe
films
I'm
and
just
other
lucky
ones.
with our local multiplex, but they seem to have a really good range.
You
Ours is quite
Tory.
good. The Wandsworth one is.
The
Tory.
Wandsworth one's really good. So, like,
Yeah.
I don't like, I'm not
Yeah,
seeing this.
listen, I've not. The last movie I saw in the cinema was not the Force Awakens, the other one, The Last Jedi. That's rubbish. That's crap. People are like, oh, it does. And you know what? I read the Last Jedi is the Metal Gear Solid 2 of Star Wars movies. It subverts almost everything, and it's really good at subverting it. But the movie itself that carries that is fucking shit. There you go. It's like the game that carries Metal Gear Solid
Well,
2.
you've got that thing
The
though as
shit.
well, is because it subverts a bunch of stuff. People are just like equating that to therefore is good, and it's like, well, just subverting things doesn't make it good or clever.
We don't need to relitigate the whole thing, but I like the message that Star Wars needs to change. I like that even some of the actors don't like what happened in it. I hate the fact that it's just a really shit version of fucking Das Boot. There's no middle of the movie, and the middle that's technically there is prequel level bad. It is as that casino scene.
You could cut the entire thing out.
Yeah, you could say, and off they went because there's no real character development there. They meet Benicio, but anyway, that's a load of shit. So we don't spend it. But Solo is going to be out by the time you probably hear this. This is a movie where Dave and I are having lunch the other day, and bus went past with it on the side, and I tweeted, it's like, that's Back to the Future stuff. When they see like Jaws 19, it looks fake. It's like, that doesn't exist. I imagined that. This movie is not coming out. And I joked that imagine going back to like 1985 and speaking to people who really love Star Wars and didn't know if they were ever going to get another Star Wars. They said, there's a whole movie about Han Solo. Yeah. Sad thing is, it comes out, you'll probably be dead, and it's shit. And it's like, yeah. Now, there's been difference of opinions, but Walter Chaw, the guy who fucking wrote the best film review of all time, well, maybe the last 20 years, on Batman vs Superman, reckons it's complete garbage. And I'm going to believe that guy. There you go.
I
Who
think
knows?
Had a much bigger push otherwise.
It does. It feels like they buried it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't feel
Well, I mean, losing your directors halfway through the shoot is never.
It's a weird thing. It doesn't feel like an event movie, and it should be an event movie.
But it'll still make $infinity billion, so does it matter from their perspective?
Yeah, they didn't give a shit, do they? Listen, Jim.
I think I don't think it's really possible to saturate markets anymore, because I think that's
where you can just get. I agree that there's a space for everyone, and it's great that no matter how niche your thing you're into is now with the internet and stuff, you can meet other people that are into that really crazy niche. But if the place you go is the cinema, so if the only thing that they sold on the PlayStation Store was, well, Call of Duty sells loads, so that's all you can get here, then would you not be pissed at that? It's like, oh yeah, I can meet someone and play PlayStation 2 games, or go somewhere and play somewhere else. But if all you get in the main place that you go is that type of culture, and there's nothing wrong with that. But is it not a problem that that's all that you're being offered?
I don't like that. Well, but I think that would be a problem, but I don't think that is really what's happening, was it? Is it really? Because
it's saturating the market.
It's.
For sure.
I mean, you can talk about.
It's not the only thing that's on
multiplexes, but like
there are lots of independents in there.
There's multiplex isn't the only storefront for seeing films, so that's
but that's where everyone wants to see films. There, right? Now, shut up. Before we go on to the questions, we're going to say, yes, there's going to be more Let's Not Plays, there's going to be some other stuff, but you should anticipate there will be more regular programming and content the first half of, the first quarter, shall we say, rolling into the first half of 2018 has been a nightmarish festival of pain. And by that, I mean in the best possible way for our lovely clients. But yes, 3 episodes of the BBC show back to back, along with everything else. You know, not that it was a problem, but you know, you need to prioritise. Unless you guys want to give us loads of money, just send it to the usual address. But yes, so we'll be announcing loads of cool stuff very soon. There's going to be more of that around E3 time. So we're going to be in LA from around about the 6th, 7th, and we'll be doing some vlogging.
Oh, that's the thing we're going to try.
Do a bit of but not vlogging. Not like vlogging as in, you know, hey guys. You'd probably just be arguing on Muscle Beach about the correct way of doing this, while an over-muscled man behind you goes, "Who the fuck are these guys?"
Excuse me.
Jim's doing a makeup tutorial.
Contouring, man. I'm telling you.
And you're doing that weird fucking sleepy talk. Hi, I'm Steve Burns.
ASMR.
You're gonna die in your sleep.
Steve Burns chastises you. ASMR.
I reckon I
chastises you for not wearing.
You know when you feel like really, you know, say you go out and you're hungover or whatever, and you get that kind of fear, and that shame, you know, the fear. I reckon I could run a channel where I really bollock you for whatever choice it is, and you get to choose which one. Like, you know, you've had too much to drink, or you spend the family's money gambling, or you've slept with your fucking wife's sister or whatever. But after that, I then give you a little pep talk, and then you get back to being on your way.
You're wearing the wrong type of cufflinks with that shirt.
Well, firstly, it's quite difficult to do that, but if you are, then you definitely deserve a bollocking. Okay, you definitely. Definitely. So yeah, all that cool stuff's coming. Now, Jim, you're the fucking master of the questions. Ask them questions.
I'll fucking question you walloper.
Exactly. Like the bill.
Right, okay. So, In Remote asks, these are all from Twitter, because I can't be bothered going anywhere else. Is Thanos just the evil space villain version of aggressive centrists? So, I mean, do you guys need to know what Thanos is
he's like, look, we've got to reduce all this stuff down, innit?
Yeah,
there's too much of this.
His entire deal is that he wants to literally cut the living population of the universe in half. And he's seeking he wants to build the Infinity Gauntlet, which is a device that will allow him to do that.
How does it, hold on, just for a bit back, how does it allow him to do that? Does he punch everyone?
That's magic, isn't it?
Okay, it doesn't make much sense.
It's not science.
What is his reason for wanting to reduce the population?
Well, there's not enough resources. And
if it's magic, just makes some more resources.
Exactly.
Whopper.
It's falling to pieces now, isn't it?
Yeah, but he's a massive centrist, isn't he? But not. No, but his idea.
He's a bit Blair. Listen, we got to kill 1 million people, but after that,
effectively, that's what he's saying. Because his whole thing is like, look, I'm not defending the idea as if I am a fucking proponent of it, right? First of all, so don't fucking cross-examine me.
I'm just asking.
Thanos' idea, the Thanosian economics, if you will, right, is that you've got a planet, right? There's 6 billion people living on it. There's enough resources for 4 billion people. So he's going to reduce the population by half, and the 3 billion people left will then have plenty.
How does he decide? Is it kind of Keynesian, or is it, you know, how does he
decide? He kills off half the population.
But I mean, how does he
How's he pick half?
Yeah, how does he doesn't. He just says,
random.
right, half it's gone.
It's random.
So what we're talking about is an extremely industrialising society which relies on agriculture and animal husbandry and the rest of it, and he's going to kill most of the proponents that know how to operate the machinery which keeps the supply chain that would actually feed.
Listen, I'm not saying
several plot holes.
I'm not saying.
You're saying he could have like a checklist, maybe.
Yeah.
He could be like, look,
he's not
that guy.
Through.
I mean, we'd be dead.
Yeah.
Amazingly.
Yeah.
But you know, fantastic. But so he's like Thanatos, right? He's the god of death, right? He's coming down.
He's not quite the god of death, but yeah. So I mean, in the comics, interestingly enough, they haven't done this in the cinema because it's probably a bit too out there for live action films and goofy, and they just haven't gotten into it yet. But like in the comics, if I remember rightly, the reason he's doing that is ostensibly because the argument he makes for it is that there'll be more resources for everyone. But the reason he's actually doing it is because he fancies death and he's trying to impress her.
Right. Oh.
So, which and that's I mean that's a slightly problematic motivation. As well.
I can see why I can see why they removed that.
So the movies have sort of omitted that from the Thanos backstory and just basically made him a libertarian.
Oh no, fair enough.
So,
I mean,
you know,
cool. All right. So well, fair enough. Yeah, I suppose the answer is yes.
But yeah, so
no, you're right. He's a libertarian. He's not a centrist.
Is Thanos? Oh, we're going to get emails from libertarians now. Right? I think you'll find actually libertarianism has got nothing to do with killing half the population of a planet to extend the resources.
It's
like yes, it fucking does, mate. Not a question. This is from Unreal Johnson. Not a question as such. Just congratulate Burns on
the Man United second place trophy. Thank you. Fair enough.
I mean, it's been devastating, hasn't it? It changed from being quite a good season if you won an FA Cup and finished second to now being trophyless and in a barren wasteland away from Manchester City.
Well, all I will say about Manchester City is that, not about Manchester City, just football in general, that football itself is about 5 years, if that, away from its Lance Armstrong moment. So enjoy while we all can, right? Yeah, enjoy while we all can. Also, hold on, speaking of which, now we can't name any names on this, but there's been a lot of high-profile British athletes who have been accused of certain things, and just accused. Okay, you know, cheating in their various disciplines and their sports, and you know they've done very well for themselves out of this. And I'll just say they've denied it vigorously despite the evidence presented, and maybe they didn't do it. Maybe they are completely clean. This is why Lance Armstrong's number one. Yeah, Lance Armstrong was number one because he was like, yeah, I did it. Yeah, and years later he went, yeah, I did it, and it was amazing. He was running fucking industry. Yeah, that's some Westworld shit. He had a fucking secret lab and all that bollock. It was amazing. All these guys...
Yeah, him and all the other top six
Yeah,
finishes.
exactly. And all this fucking shit about Lance Armstrong now being some sort of villain. The rest of them are on drugs. He raised all that money for all those sick people. And all people care about is that he cheated in a sport mainly devoted to cheating. Crazy. Crazy.
Just have the Drug Olympics.
Have the big pharma, innit? The Drug Olympics, sponsored by the big lads, you know, not saying that they supply the gas or whatever. And then people just run around, their legs start bursting because they're running like 4-second 100 meters and shit. You know, they're running 26 miles in 20 minutes or something.
And you can start getting certain limbs that are mechanical.
Exactly. That's all I'm saying. How did we get here? Sorry, what was we talking about?
I don't know, some shit about Man United.
I'm not accusing any professional football teams of being on drugs. I'm just saying that it just seems weird that like certain footballers are playing until they're like nearly 40 and like, why'd you never get tired?
Yeah, I don't understand anything. Joe Duckett asks, how long do you think the Battle Royale crack will last? Does it have a future, or will it die in its arse in 6 months?
Not in 6 months, that's for sure.
I don't know. I don't hate it. It's just the mode. It's more than that.
That's the thing about Battle Royale, though, isn't it? Because it's like it is. Oh, for fuck's sake! There's a person outside being loud with a piece of equipment.
That's Lance Armstrong. That's what he does now. He's the best lawnmower man in the world.
No, it's the thing is, well, as you say, I mean, it's more than just a mode, I guess, but it seems like something that's very adaptable into lots of different scenarios, into lots of different games, lots of different shooters. Like, it's definitely something that, you know, is conceivably something that you can add to a game post-release, and that's happened to a lot of games. That happened to Fortnite, right? You know, it was basically they saw that PUBG was well popular. They were like, let's bang that in Fortnite, and then Fortnite went on to make $1 billion, and now PUBG is just. Nobody gives a fuck about it anymore, do they? I don't know.
They do.
Is COD going down that route for the next?
Yeah. So COD. No, I don't think it was one in, one out. But this year's COD, Black Ops 4, has infamously it's dropped the single player campaign and it's added
the Battle Royale
mode. Mm-hmm. Which I think, you know, when Call of Duty starts going down down that road, well, Battle Royale is just going to be a mode in everything now, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't hate it.
Everything that happens in Call of Duty gets adopted by everything else. Like, even the fucking Call of Duty control scheme. But
this is the first time that Call of Duty, in its, I would say, in terms of popularity, is not in terms of mechanics, because it has taken mechanics from everything. But I would say this is the first time it's actively following something. Like, it's following something.
Yeah, it's following the fucking dollar is what it's following, because it's making an astronomical
amount of money. It's all about getting tons of fucking cash, isn't it?
I mean, it shows you how much money talks, because, like, Boss Key Productions, Cliff Brzezinski took a lot of flack for releasing a Battle Royale based shooter like a couple of months before the company
Radical
folded. Radical Heights, yeah. And they took a lot of shit for that, and there was all this, you know, like, Cliff, you know, like the how the mighty fallen, because he used to be Mr. Gears of War, and now he's responsible for a lot of innovation and stuff in the 360. A lot of
stuff we take for granted, yeah.
You know, isn't Active Reload one of his, you know? Like,
Active Reload was in Gears, and it was amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Shit like that. And
isn't there a new Gears coming out?
Yeah, there is, yeah.
According to Walmart, there is.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Cheers, Walmart.
So, like, they're doing a current trilogy, aren't they? You know, Cliffy B took a lot of shit for then being a trend chaser, because they did that hero shooter, Lawbreakers, and then did the Battle Royale thing as their second one, and and a lot of people sort of criticised them. Well, you're not innovating anymore. You're just copying things that are already popular. And then Call of Duty comes out with the Battle Royale mode, and the consensus is completely different. Like, people are praising Call of Duty for, well, it's
being open to ideas.
Well, this is just really sensible, and Call of Duty's putting me, because and it just felt a little bit like, why is one dick getting sucked and not the other? I don't get it, you know?
I think people didn't like the idea necessarily of Radical Heights, because it seemed nakedly and transparently a last throw of the dice. The way it was released in early access had a lot of functionality, I think, issues and stuff like that. But Call of Duty, the thing is that Radical Heights is a game, all right? Whatever happens to it will happen. Call of Duty is an industry, and when an industry needs to adapt to something else, then that's just business. I think the reason is because Call of Duty is the brand, and Cliffy B though is the brand for Radical Heights still.
That is true.
Everything that people don't like or whatever gets projected onto him. Call of Duty, we know who the principals are. Does anyone really give a shit who they are?
No. That's true.
No. Now listen, I'm asking the questions now, because your questions are a bunch. You're a bunch of shit. Oh no, sorry, Jim. Here's one. So we're saying about E3. Adam Lewis says, why are people still flying across the planet to watch cunts in suits chat about video games when they can do it from their own home?
Well, first
you don't talk about me like that, Adam Lewis. Unbelievable.
I mean, well, the reason is because everyone gets a free trip to Santa Monica.
That is mainly the reason. Well, it's not quite a holiday, I wouldn't say. You do have to do some
It depends how savvy you are about booking it.
What are we looking forward to seeing at E3? It's one of the few people have asked that question. Dave. Dave, like, people know that you're shit at video games, and just, you know, they don't care about you. So what do you think about about video. They don't care about your opinion about video games, which is good. You can sneak in with that actual factual opinion. You're the film guy. Answer the games questions now.
Fucking FIFA.
Mate, featuring the 6 times European Champions League. So to be. Hey, will we see more of Spider-Man? That was the best thing last year.
Well,
by a fucking mile.
Sony said they're going to be concentrating on 4 exclusives for their
Kane Lynch 3.
They're not announcing
Kane Lynch 4.
Yeah, they're not announcing any hardware. So
will we see any Last of Us 2?
Yes,
probably. Yeah.
They just tweeted yesterday, I think, when this was recorded, so the 21st. They'll
be concentrating on Last of Us 2 and Spider-Man will be...
We're not going to get any Horizon Zero Dawn, I imagine, for another
Horizon Zero Dawn. A team of Marines go into...
Horizon Zero Dawns.
No, I would like to say Horizon Zero Dawn. It's like Attorneys General. There's going to be a lot of... I would be surprised if Last of Us 2's presentation was like 10 or 15 minutes long. Just really kick the arse out of it, really drive the, just the hype, essentially.
It's got to be one of the most anticipated games ever, surely.
I'm looking forward to playing it, actually, because as someone who didn't jerk myself senseless about the original game, just kind of liked it for what it was, which is a 70s zombie movie, with some good graphics. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing it. It's going to be like The Godfather Part 2, isn't it? It's going to dual timelines, and if it doesn't, then they've fucked it. Yeah.
It'll be like the Honey Nut Cornflakes versus the Frosties.
You see, this is your problem, Jim. Okay, you're fucking stupid. Yeah, the game that I'm most looking forward to.
That's an outrageous thing to say.
The game that I'm most looking forward to is PES, obviously, because there aren't any other games really, are there? There are other games, and yes, you can play them, but what's the point?
Hot PES, 50 quid.
Exactly, when PES exists. Well, look, Dave has to go and see the Rolling Stones now.
Yeah, I can't believe you're going to see the Rolling Stones, Dave.
What are you doing tonight that's better, Jim?
You're going to play God of War, aren't you?
Yeah. Oh, that was good as well, Jim. Do you want to have a
God of War's
quick chat about God of War?
I love God of War. I love it's a brilliant modernisation and reworking of an existing property. Always felt like Kratos or however you want to pronounce Kartos. I felt like that character in the original games was more of a sort of a fairly empty avatar for the player's fucking own impotent masculinity, but I feel like with this one they have actually made Kratos into a character that you can identify with, and they've made him into a character which he wasn't before.
I'm not sure I can play it though, because it's I hate children. And the whole game is like...
Well, do you know what? It's one of these things, and this is one of the reasons why I love the MCU as well. It's one of the many things that I enjoy that are essentially about shit dads. So, the Marvel cinematic universe is an entire odyssey about shit fathers, right? And God of War is an odyssey about a shit father, sort of trying his best, but sort of actually kind of being a prick to his son as well. He's trying to teach his son to be a good warrior and stuff.
He's got to survive in that world, hasn't he?
He's got to survive in that world, but he could also show a bit of tenderness sometimes, and he doesn't because he is emotionally stunted.
I don't want to learn anything from video games. Okay, okay. I don't have any emotional learning whatsoever, because I kind of like where I'm at right now. Just very, very emotionally dead.
Yeah,
it's like fear and disgust being the two emotions. A bit of greed in there as well, and it's like. That's really great. That's all I need.
Basically, it's a very good game, and also.
No, congratulations to them, because they did turn it around, and I must say that I did scoff when it was Dad of War, because it was on that whole cusp of we're game designers and we've had kids now. So now we've got to do the kid game.
Yeah, see that was a bit cringeworthy to me, is when they were just like, oh well, didn't the lead designer say, well, I've had a kid now, so it's made me think about stuff.
Yeah, it's the as a father.
Just because everyone had kids at 18, Jim.
Yeah,
Jim's completed having kids now. He's no more of those fucking
having
things.
Kids, and I'm done with it now. Basically, I do like that a lot of things now are about shit dads and shit dads trying to fix the mistakes of their past. Fucking Uncharted 4, Nathan Drake is a shit husband now, you know, and he's trying to fix the mistakes of his past. He's
cracking game,
cracking game.
It's the best Uncharted.
Assassin's Creed Origins, you know, essentially the driver for that, not necessarily that he was a shit dad, but his son is killed before the game starts, and it's a revenge story.
Excuse me, that is a spoiler.
No, that's fucking that happens right at the start of the game.
Yeah,
that's
but I haven't started. I did start I did play a bit of Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, you did play it, and you complained to me about it as if I'd made it. It's a fantastic game.
Yeah, I can't do another 60 hours before the game starts.
But you know, but look, basically, there's loads of shit about dads, and that's great. You know, and you know, they're a very well represented group, shit dads. You know, so I quite like that.
All dads are shit though.
Well, yeah, I mean, every dad's a shit dad. But what I think we need more representation of now. We've covered shit dads. We need some representation of shit mums. So
or just mothers in general,
mothers in general
that aren't just absent and you know.
Binding of Isaac is a very extreme example of you know representation. I mean, she's a really shit mum. She's very bad. But
shit mum, no fans.
Just mums that are just mums that are a bit emotionally distant, mums that are just you know, I'm just gonna leave you outside while I go fucking go on the fruit machine, you know. Mums that are just you know, smoking.
See, I would play that over God of War.
Tabs, you know, smoking tabs when they've got the baby in the fucking.
Have you been to Montrose again recently?
So you know, I think, but you know, there is a serious point here that I'm sort of getting to, which is that you know, male representation is very broad, and men.
Most of the design, isn't it?
Well, exactly, but men are allowed to be flawed. Is the point? Men are not. Men are allowed to be flawed characters. And women are. There's a lot of great examples of great kind of female representation, but where a lot of them fall down is that they kind of, we're still putting women on it. We're either ignoring women completely or we're putting them on a bit of a pedestal. And I think there's a lot of room to explore. Well, women are flawed as well, you know what I mean? So that there's a lot of room to explore the idea that, well, you know, mums can be a bit shit as well, you know. So I think,
can you leave the mothers out of this?
Perhaps the next sort of wave of that stuff, you know, representing genders and stuff like that in video games. Perhaps the next big frontier for us is to handle the idea that you know, we could do Red Dead Redemption where there's a woman protagonist and she's a bit of a cow. I think that
absolutely
would be,
would you not feel that video games will be behind films? The films are still dragging their feet after being around for well over a century.
But the thing about, you know, I mean, movies make a lot of strides, but then they kind of fuck it, don't they? You know, then they feel like they don't quite go far enough, or they like movies have like some signature sort of you know, characters like, you know, like Ripley in Alien, for example, and then they get trotted out as examples for then like 30-40 years,
like 30 years ago.
Yeah, like James Cameron recently, given it fucking, you know, when people were excited about Wonder Woman's and you know, Wonder Woman's not actually that great a film, but like the stuff they were doing with like having a roster of female action heroes, and that was huge. It's a shit film, but it's great for that reason.
Yeah.
And James Cameron came on and poo-pooed it and sort of went, well, I made Alien fucking ages ago. And
no, I think he was arguing that Ripley's a stronger character than.
But I think that, well, there was a bit of a snooty sort of like, well, I've already sorted that.
But it shouldn't be. There's so few examples that the examples you have to compare are 2018 and 1986.
Yes,
an interesting point on the Ripley thing before we go is that David Giler, who's one of the writers of the series, and I believe one of the producers, he was saying that when they were making Alien 3, that there was all this stuff that he didn't. There was a draft without Ripley because they weren't sure if Sigourney Weaver would commit, and you know, it was dragged on for years trying to get this happened. Trying to get this happened, fucking hell, trying to make this happen. But Sigourney herself said that she would only do it if Walter Hill and David Giler wrote it, and the reason is because that most people mistook Ripley essentially as a man. So they wrote her like a man. So even though that she was this strong female character, actually a lot of the writers were essentially transplanting, a woman on. So she was basically saying that she would still feel like it was a character for a man, but she was playing it in this being read by a woman, yeah. And so, they hadn't really recognised what the core of her character was. And they were just going, oh, well, she used guns in the last one, so she's going to be running around swearing, and, basically, I think they were saying that it was just like flagrant masculinity masquerading as the Ripley character, and that's not what the character is, which is a really interesting point, I thought.
Well, the second one's literally about motherhood.
Yeah.
Not covert.
Yeah. And also, just before we go, when Newt gets killed at the start, it's the greatest opening of any movie ever. We've got to go now. We will see you at E3.
All right.